One of the things about people is that when you push them away, something amazing happens psychologically, right? And I bet a lot of us have done that when we date people, right? And we're in love with them. And as soon as we fall out of love, we start to push them away. And we think that we could just push them away and they're going to agree to it, right? Actually, we all fear that if we push them away or if we treated them wrong, they're going to lift, their self-esteem is going to come up and they're going to stand up to you and push you away too. Well, what surprises people is that the opposite tends to happen. What tends to happen is that people all of a sudden give you the control over the dynamic. When you push people away, it forces them to make a decision. And this is what you're limiting their options. You're literally limiting their options. Pushing them away gives you control over the dynamic. And it's people get afraid when I say to push them away. But the thing is that you're afraid of that because you don't know human nature. When you push someone away, their self-esteem is not going to tell them leave you. Their self-esteem is actually going to tell them, hey, if they push you away, that means they have something worth of value. And they actually start acting like children, like a child who's rejected by their parents, right? And that fear will debilitate them. You might think that if you push them away, they're gonna act confident and leave. No, if they actually like you or they have some chemistry with you, what would happen is that fear will literally flood their bodies. Fear will flood their bodies, flood their minds, and it'll completely debilitate them. And what will happen is that they're going to start all of a sudden making mistakes. And mistakes are these. Usually people are under control. They try to control their emotions. They try to control how they express themselves, what they feel. They try to control and not tell you that, right? Instinctively. But when you push them away, all of those defenses go down. And all of a sudden they start throwing Hail Marys to you. And what tends to happen, people get more emotional. People tell you the truth. People start expressing their emotions more, but there's a danger to that. Sometimes this inflammation of emotions can be temporary, and sometimes it's permanent, right? It's 50-50, right? So it's kind of like whenever you do this, you have to be aware a few days or weeks later to see if they rebound back to their behavior, right? And so pushing them away will force them to make a decision that can only bring you power if you're willing to walk away, right? Now, why do you push people away, right? You don't push people away for the sake of pushing them away. That's psychopathic, people. Can't be doing that, right? You push them away because they don't meet your standards. That's why you push them away. You don't push them away for manipulation. You push them away as a defense for their bullshit, right? So pushing away is not an offensive weapon. It's really because you sense some toxicity, some evil shit coming through them, right? And everyone has flaws. So this is why I tell people, you do not need to calculate when to push them away. I could promise you, if people are human beings, they're gonna do something eventually that could cause you to push them away. And if you miss out on that opportunity, that's on you. And if you miss out on that opportunity, they notice that you're missing out. They notice you're not saying something. People know when you're accepting bullshit. People can sense that, and it invigorates them, and it causes them to get more aggressive and potentially push you away and reverse their dynamic. So if people don't meet your standards, push them the hell away. People eventually will not meet your standards. Within the first few months, they're going to show traits that don't meet your standards. And what you have to do is push them away either verbally or physically. Now, people, calm the fuck down, okay? Not physically like that, but literally physically in terms of I can't be around you, right? Or verbally saying, hey, look, you're not good for me. I'm not good for you. We can't be together. I'm toxic for you, or you're toxic for me. Whatever the hell you think, verbally tell them that this will not work out and that this is not good and that this is not a good relationship. What would happen is that verbally telling them to leave you alone or that to end it and to tell them don't come back to me, don't see me and stuff like that, right? This will cause them to do something special, right? And it'll cause them to qualify themselves to you, right? Qualification is pretty much when they start to sell themselves to you, when they start to tell you why you should be with them. And what happens psychologically is that when people try to convince you that you should be with them, something psychological happens. They end up falling in love with you because they backward rationalize that if I'm telling you why you should be with me, it means that you are special to me. And people tend to fall in love through qualification. And what is qualification? An example: you're in an interview, and you know you're the only one in the interview, right? You're the only one. You're the only one who's applying for this job, right? You're not gonna really sell yourself too much, especially if you know they really want you. You're not gonna sell themselves. You're gonna lean back, turn on, put your go like that. Why should I work for you? Why should I work for you, right? And they start qualifying. And in the process of qualification, there's a nervousness, there's a fear, there's an anxiety, and there is a leverage that you have when people are selling themselves to you or trying to convince you should be with them. And this leverage will will give you the opportunity and the ability to set standards, to set a price. Like, you know how people say, you know how to say it, right? Make them lick your ass, right? You set that standard, and it actually, if they actually do it, the process of jumping the hoops you set for them makes them fall in love with you more. And also, it makes them not want to be in that position anymore. So they tend to behave a little bit more. And as they try to convince themselves, they fall in love in the process. But this can only be temporary, right? This can be temporary, a few weeks, or it can be permanent. So that's why you have to wait it out, right? And this is why when you have standards, you tend to do this naturally, right? But when you don't have standards, you tend to not do this. That's just how that works, right? You tend to forget to do this because your fear will cause you to sort of like give off the vibe that you already won me over. Like, give off the vibe that I want you and you don't need to do anything. And so it doesn't have that anxiety that you feel when you know there's 100 other people applying for this job. And so the nervousness will cause you to dress better, to be more on time, to be more tidy, to be more professional, to be on your best motherfucking behavior, right? But when you're cocky about it, when you think like they want me and not vice versa, you tend to be more lazy about it. And this is why romanticism has to come with some insecurity, because people are only romantic when they need to. People are only romantic when they feel the need, when you really when they feel like they're behind the corner, right? And this is why when people fuck up, they give you flowers, right? When people do something bad, they tend to do something for you. Well, romanticism is a token of my forgiveness. I mean, of my insecurities, right? It's a token. And so if they're not being romantic with you, you just easily won over. And let me tell you something. People might say it's manipulation, but you gotta understand. People like people that are a little bit difficult. People like people who are not easily won over, right? So one of the best ways, push them away when they fuck up. Don't be afraid to say you want your space. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, the discussion we had, I didn't like it. I need to think about things. Don't be afraid to make them wait on your decision, right? Because your anxiety for their validation will cause you to speed things up and not go through this process. Even if you won them over, you got to make them feel like you're thinking about it, right? So this will make them feel like they won you over. They earn your love and attention. Always be on the lookout for those standards that you could set up. It doesn't mean be whiny. You know what I'm saying? Do this, or why you never clean the dishes, right? Okay, whatever, right? I'm talking about maybe they're always late. Maybe they don't text you, they don't call you or see you as much, and you want to see them more, right? A lot of people are afraid to express that because they don't want to look needy. Don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If that's what you want, ask for it. What the fuck? Like, honestly, like, what? If you are afraid to ask what you want, then this is not it. Like, you got to be able to ask what you want, and if they don't give it to you, you got to be able to walk away. And when people sense that you're not going to compromise, right? Realistically, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are some things you got to compromise in life, right? But if you're not going to compromise about what you want, people are more willing to give it when they sense you're not willing to compromise. But when they can sense a tint of compromise in your voice, in your face, in your expression, people will jump on that and take advantage of it and test it. If they see weakness, they'll test it, they'll poke at it. And if it's true weakness, you're going to react instantly, right? This is why conflict resolution is important. Conflict resolution comes with both parties qualifying themselves to you. And if you cannot have a healthy conflict with the person you're with, you cannot grow together. You cannot grow in attraction, because it is these conflict and these compromises on both sides that makes people bond together over time. Because conflict is what brings people together. Like, when things are bad, conflict is a perfect thing to bring people together, because the reconciliation always brings people together more. But when couples don't go through those process of fighting, reconciliation in a healthy way, if they're unhealthy, the fighting will deteriorate the relationship. And that means they both need to work on, one or both need to work on communication skills. But that's the thing. Natural conflict builds attraction. Natural conflict builds trust. Natural conflict releases oxytocin, releases the bonding hormones, and it makes people fall in love. This is why too much conflict tends to create this a little bit too much, right? You can't do this too much, and that's why controlling your emotions is so important, right? But this is what I have to say, man. There's don't be afraid to push people away, right? Like I said, we all had those moments when we push people away and the opposite happened. Like, we thought they were really confident, we thought that they would walk away, and then we notice they come back, and it kind of surprises us. Honestly, it really does surprise us. And the reason why it surprises us is because we just don't understand human nature completely. We have a misunderstanding of human nature, which says that most people are confident, and we take the appearance for reality, but push them away and see what happens. All of a sudden, you're gonna see this facade of confidence crumbling down, completely crumbling down, and it's gonna shock you, but it shouldn't. You should understand that this is part of nature, because you also do it. You're also putting up a front. Most people are putting up a front of confidence. Why? Because it's beneficial, right? But sometimes when it comes to relationships, you like someone, you have to be willing to sometimes put down that front, right? It's just human nature. If you're not willing to put down that confident front and your ego is too strong, you want them to compromise, you want them to qualify themselves, but you don't want to do the same, it's not going to work out. And if you're noticing you're with someone that wants you to that wants you to see their point of view, but they can't do the same, you can't. This is not going to work out. It's just they're a shitty partner. Walk away. All right. And for me, I talk to a lot of clients, and it's surprising how many clients come to me because their partners pushed them away. Right? They want to win them back over. And that's the thing. When a group rejects you, it doesn't make you feel more confident. It makes you, when somebody pushes you away, they take something from you. They take your confidence. They take your self-esteem. And so what happens is that you start to literally trying to win them over so that you could take back this illusory self-esteem. And that's why when people get rejected by certain groups, they tend to get obsessed by winning them over. By showing them off that they were wrong, right? And that's human nature, right? Because we don't like knowing that some people don't like us, because we secretly don't like ourselves. We secretly have low self-esteem. So when somebody expresses that they don't want us, it secretly confirms to us our self-opinion. People have a need to belong, and if you push them away, they feel ostracized. And naturally, humans, when they get pushed away, they don't walk away. They come back and try to win them over. When people are together, even one-on-one, it's almost like a tribe of two. And you rejecting them makes them feel like they're being rejected by the tribe. And humans naturally feel a sense of panic and a sense of desperation when they feel rejected by people who they feel like they belong to. And so what tends to happen, they go crazy. They start acting animalistic. They lose patience. They lose their rationale. They start acting crazy. And what will happen is that it'll give you the ability to set standards, especially if they messed up, right? You gotta understand, people have low self-esteem. Don't buy into what they show you. People have more low self-esteem than they appear. And so that's why we get aggressive in trying to validate, in trying to get their validation, so that you could not think that, if that makes any sense, or prove that you're not that. And this extra aggression will cause them to be super romantic. Will cause them to freaking bring a mariachi band to play instruments for you. Will cause them to do things that they wouldn't do before. I mean, they give you absolute power when they are in that desperate mode. But the thing is, you gotta be careful, because you don't want to take advantage of that. You know, that's them being weak, and not in a bad way, right? They're being vulnerable. And the issue that I have with this is that some people will use this to really hurt people. And that's problematic, because they're getting people in a vulnerable state, not to open up and connect with them, but to take advantage of them. And I believe in karma, but that really doesn't fix it. What fixes it is developing a relationship with yourself. developing a meditation practice. And when I say a relationship with yourself, I mean a connection with yourself. Your mind is always in your head and never in your body. How do I know? Feel your feet. How do your feet feel? You felt there, right? Were you feeling your feet a few minutes before? No, you weren't, because you were in your head. When I mean a connection with your body, I mean when I say feel your feet, you would have said I already felt it because I was connected to it. Feel your ears. I already felt it because I was aware of the feeling. There's a lot of sensations happening that your mind doesn't register because you're not connected to your body. You have no self-love. Self-love is having the awareness of the sensations of the body. And this brings a unity between you and your mind and brings you peace. And this peace is love, self-love. There's no conflict, there's no fighting. There's just tranquility on the inside, selflessness. And this radiates from within. People sense that when you're genuinely at peace with yourself, you know? And that's why developing a meditation practice will allow you to do this and will allow you to also to be on the receiving end and not be so egoic, if that makes any sense, right? To be pushed away and react to it, not from a pattern of the past, but based on the situation, right? If they're pushing you away because you're doing something bad and that's real and they're being genuine, you're gonna go after them and say, hey, I apologize. But if they're pushing you away because they're being irrational and an asshole, you're gonna say, fuck this motherfucker, I'm walking away, you know? Anyways, and that's how you do it, man. If you guys want to learn how to develop a meditation practice, click in the description down below and purchase my course, Emotional Mastery. There, I teach you guys how to develop a meditation practice, and I'll see you guys later.
All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club video that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.